Hello and welcome back to Metal Straws. In today's video, we're covering posts from r/IAmSmart. Let's dive right in. Extremely freestyle jazz is equivalent to absurdist modern art, in that the people who claim to enjoy it only do so to appear more cultured and intellectual. From my perspective, in an engineering field with high-level applied mathematics, seeing a bunch of pretentious liberal arts majors think that they're smart because they saw some deeply profound meaning in an empty canvas priced at $5 million is a bit like watching QAnon conspiracists think that they're clever for having derived some secret meaning in Trump's tweet. Pretty impressive that you managed to write a sentence that is both incredibly pretentious and calling others pretentious at the same time. Thanks. I never said I was humble, just that their method for determining their own level of intellect is inferior to mine, and inherently flawed. Also, I don't know that your criticism is very apt. My comment wasn't pretentious as much as it was arrogant. At least he sees that he was being arrogant. I have no internal monologues. My IQ is 137, officially government tested with a psychiatrist. I think having no voice is a sign of out-of-the-box thinking, more right brain, and a sign of creative genius. Next time, don't go up against a guy who's obviously leaps and bounds ahead of you on an intellectual scale. It looks like there was more to this post too. I think that pretty much summed it up. I'm sorry you don't quite comprehend the nuances of my reference to synchronism and the works of Waldemar Bonzels. I sometimes digress in my thought that most people have a similar desire for the scant accentuated aspects of art, past and present, in our daily jocular exercises. Sorry, you cultural icon. Next time I'll try to mold my jokes in something that is more in your taste. What shall it be, Family Guy or The Simpsons? Just watch the pilot. Silly, juvenile, not juvenile. Decimus Junius Juvenalis, the Roman poet. And overall, light fun, which is a nice break from watching the Republic collapse in a civil war. Mr. Danson's acting ability may be challenged, but I think he can rise to the occasion. Favorite character so far is the sandal-wearing geek, who turns out to be top executive material, while the professionals will obviously be the butt of most jokes. Yes, I know what the word butt means. Try to keep up. While I never owned or wore sandals, I was and am a proud geek. I'm actually in the 99 percentile IQ. Now go on and Google and look up percentile, then look up IQ, intelligence quotient. After that, look up MS, because I have one of those too. You don't know what an MS is? What's your level of giftedness? Or do you not even know what that means? While you're at it, go check out Mensa. As an example, when I was 24 and 2 months old, I took a Navy nuclear qualification test and got the highest score the person testing me had ever seen, and did it in half the time she'd ever seen, and she tested 2 people a day for years. But in a weird quirk of fate, one of the luckiest days of my life, the Navy set their cutoff point for entering the nuke program to 24 years exactly. So the fact that I had perfect color vision, was in excellent physical shape, and had the highest score this one tester had ever seen meant nothing. I was 2 months past the cutoff. So anyone who thinks people are out there searching for genius ability alone, it's just not the case. You mean your artificially flavored wheat flour enriched, disgusting, automated, mass-produced garbage had its sugar-saturated and vegetable oil infused white filling placed upon the wrong side of the cookie? Oh no, how sad. Enjoy your diabetes and heart attack. Thanks, I guess, but you don't have to be so rude. I just came home from the gym and wanted to enjoy a cookie, and it just so happens it has wafers upside down. I find that mildly interesting, so I decided to share it on the internet. I don't deserve your jerk behavior, so go be a jerk somewhere else. I completely agree with this. That I am a genius, one of the greatest minds ever, but cannot prove anything that I know to anyone. I can't even get most people to listen to me. So instead of living in bliss, I live in anguish, knowing everything I'm missing. Fame, notoriety, power, influence, getting the attention of my favorite celebrities. That should be mine. Even worse is knowing the entire world is predetermined, meaning everything could have worked out in my favor if the simulators wanted it to, but for some reason they didn't. I was created just to suffer. The post-mortem on this should be very interesting to read. I love when non-medical people use medical terms like they know what they're talking about. Said no medical professional ever. For your education, it's a common term in technical fields too, used after an incident or unplanned service outage. Laughing. Thank you for the education from someone far less educated than myself. I appreciate it very much. Bless your heart. My name is Blank, and I'm a computer hacker. When most people think of hacker, they conjure an image of what is actually a cyber criminal. But I am actually referring to the original definition of the term before it was hijacked by the media. An individual with a deep and profound appreciation for computers who combines technical knowledge with creative thinking to accomplish otherwise impossible results. Why are you downvoted? Because I don't speak internet-ese, no punctuation, reliance on emojis, references to memes, etc., and seek clarification. In other words, I really don't know. Okay, that's just cringy. This, unironically. This. No, I prefer you all to speak in the non-lazy variant. Or is that extra 2 seconds of typing oh so time-consuming to your rather important life? Who hurt you? Who's going to hurt you? Probably not you. Do I spill a cup of tea on my companion's pants and the person across the dining room reacts to the scalding liquid? That describes you in this pathetic quarrel with me and icy flares we're having. Man, that makes no sense. Your guess is as good as mine. A, me, responds to B, you, equal quarrel started. Then C, Teague, responds to A, me, and then A, me, responds to C, Teague, and B responds? Equals what? A plus B plus Q times C minus A plus negative A plus B, oh my goodness, equals X. X being the answer to this informal equation. This person says, and what does Q stand for? I can't believe they made such a big game in only 41 minutes. I don't get what's funny about that. This is just further proof of how much our education has been dumbed down thanks to the rich corporations who infiltrated it and dumbed down the work students get so that instead of being smart critical thinkers, they are mindless droves ready to work on machines. I grew up in a time when education, although not perfect, was at least decent. These days, well, there's not much to say really. People have been so dumbed down. This guy's comment is just one of the many examples as to how. And look at how many people thumbed it up. Hopefully they thumbed it up because they were laughing at his or her stupidity and not because they actually agreed with the point. The point has no merit to it. It's the kind of thing a Blank supporter would bring up. The same logic is at play. Laugh all you want. If you're the only outlying member here who can't grasp the concept of online sarcasm, then I'm afraid it's you who's in question of their IQ. Below 95? Okay, buddy, you believe that. That's why I have 17 over 18 on the Mensa workout IQ test, and also why I got an IQ score of 143 on a paid IQ test, and an IQ score of 154 on an unpaid test. It's also why I go to the former second best college in my country, and pass all of my GCSEs with flying colors. Grade 7A+. If you want proof, DM me. Beaten the game. Where did this strange turn of phrase come from in the last few years? You completed the game, as intended, like thousands before you. It just sounds so juvenile. Like giving yourself credit for something like making toast. Yay, I beat the toaster. I made toast. So hilarious. The bar's difficulty is highly overrated. The people raving about how hard it is are mainly the dunces who shouldn't even be in the law business, as we call it, anyway. Source: I passed it with minimal study and now make 6 figures at a Seattle law firm. You have no idea what scalping and retail arbitrage is. Scalping is intentionally causing a supply shortage, buying them all as an employee, then reselling them at higher prices. Retail arbitrage is buying an item inside a retail store where plenty may be available, then using other markets to sell it for profit. Next time you try to be smart, actually be smart. I'm not a psychologist. I just know how to shred people to pieces. If I wanted to be mean, I could research and shred them psychologically by using fears and weaknesses. I try to be merciful to most, even the most idiotic ones, but I've snapped and left people speechless before. I felt sorry after, but they usually just don't respond or insult me and leave. I just do my research, unlike a lot of people. I also know how people think. I really don't hate most people I argue with. I hate that they became that way, and when I'm incorrect, I apologize and walk away. But usually, even when I'm wrong, I can make other standpoints to why they are also wrong in other ways. As my favorite psychologist says, the inner machinations of my mind is an enigma. If they're wearing a basic/common stitch, I don't even pay attention to them, to be honest. Too many zombie people all looking like bees from a hive with their identical stitches. I don't have the time or care to interact with non-unique minds, to be quite honest. It's difficult being too intellectual to fit in with the working class and too working class to fit in with the intellectuals. Sometimes I wish I could just conk myself with a hammer in the right spot just so I could stop thinking and fit in. So I'm thinking someone responded to his post and then his response to them is this: it's a shame that we must downplay our minds just to have normal conversations with people and talk with them about what they want to hear. Is anyone else just entirely indifferent to this? Response: your comment contradicts your statement, and commenting you have shown you had a reaction to the post that prompted you to respond. To then claim indifference is clearly in contradiction to that reaction. Nice edginess though. The percentage of the world with an intellectual capacity that I have is exceedingly low, and truth be told, once a person has an IQ above 160, it becomes harder to properly quantify. It's the sort of thing that's more of an annoyance than anything. It turned me into a curiosity for university professors who like to test me and pit their master's students against me to do certain things from about the time when I was 10. When a child of that age is able to read as well as comprehend the complete works of Nietzsche, Sartre, and Kant, you aren't dealing with someone who's merely described as gifted. But hey, I'm paid well for it as an analyst, and it allows me to have time for other pursuits. And that brings us to the end of r/IamVerySmart. If you enjoyed watching the video, give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments which one of these was the absolute worst. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.